Well, it's something.
Yeah, exactly, right? All right, welcome once again. So this is a treat. We have the legend. So all of you know,
Where is?
yeah, exactly. Somewhere over there.
Somewhere over here.
So everybody knows that I am the world's hugest aux proponent ever, and this is the man.
Oh. Well, me and about 19 really smart people.
Right. Come on, give yourself
wonderful,
a little
smart guys, and I get to just bang on guitar. Yeah, I'm just a really proud musical folks, and I think, honestly, I think one of the coolest things was the wood paneling. Like,
well, dude, everybody says that. My wife's like, that does look great.
Oh, you have to imagine a bunch of people sitting there like, really would be cool if it looked like a really bitchin' stereo.
Yeah, you're like, yes.
Does it look
big
good in your living room? Yeah, big dials and no readouts and digital displays. And wanted to make it look like a retro toaster.
It looks like it fits with my West Elm furniture.
Actually, this is exactly some of the stuff we were thinking about. It has to look cool in your living room.
Totally.
You got a Macintosh stereo and a vinyl collection. And,
I need one of those.
Me too.
I forgot about that whole world. And then my daughter just recently got a record player. And I'm like, we need an old school stereo, big speakers.
Tubes lighting up. So that is the aesthetic. I mean, you really got it.
Oh, yeah, we got to do it.
Which is weird because we're now doing tube amps and things that sound like tube amps. And
yes, which is awesome. Okay, so the pedals are amazing. The reverb and delay are some of my favorite pedals ever, but now they are MIDI, am I understanding this correctly?
This is the first time the software is leaving the building.
What?
MIDI enabled.
Come on, dude.
And we're not doing a hardware change. The guys over there and kind of figured out a way to do this USB-C through the MIDI.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the modern way a lot of companies do. Oh, we go.
Got some.
Yeah, I don't have a standby here. I'd flag it. Sorry. There's a lot, and I have a real simple MIDI controller. Yeah. There's just a USB-C cable down there. And I think I had a discussion with Barry over.
Oh, yeah. XTS, genius.
Yeah, we're talking about the days when I remember spending all my money on an 80A MP1.
Oh, dude.
And making MIDI presets and having a floor controller and all this stuff.
The Elisa's Quadriverb.
Oh, SPX 90 and the Roland SDE delays.
Yeah.
And then you realize you spend half your time doing MIDI mapping and all this not fun stuff. And there's a concept I think we should talk about, which is you start writing presets and you stop playing with your volume control, because then you kind of are making amp sounds and sometimes you lose a little bit of the vibe.
Yeah.
So what we were thinking is, we're putting MIDI on here so you don't see anything that says anything about program changes and who really cares. But what I'm doing here, which I thought would be a fun experiment, is I've actually saved 4 sounds in here.
Okay.
I'm just triggering them from the floor, but they're the reasons why we put 3 different Marshall sounds in this line pedal.
Yeah. Because there's 3 different awesome Marshalls.
I think so. Well, there's 100 we should buy. But you had to nail it down to 3 because I think there's people like, I'm on my 42nd Marshall. I traded looking for the one sound.
Yeah, good luck.
But then, good luck with that. And if you got the money for it. But there's these flavors of like the super bass having this really forgiving, warm front end.
Yep.
You've got the regular Plexi stuff that has the bright caps in it, so you get chimey. And then you've got the modifications, which was like for us was doing sort of the Variac down to 90, over biasing the amp, using 6087s.
The Variac thing too, man, it's one of the coolest things ever. I remember just because when I worked at Divided by 13, the amps were never master volume, and he's like, dude, just get a Variac. Right. But like the compressed, like the squishiness of it when you start turning it down, and then he's like, then the real trick is to rebias.
That's the same thing for you have to like over bias it because the powers drop so hard that you got to go the other direction. And then as I was doing this, and I've had Marshalls a long time. Yeah. And I played with putting in masters and then taking them out. Yeah. But the one funny thing with the Variac is, when you start doing it, you start to realize the amp ends up sounding like an AC30 is kind of thing. And it was one of those weird areas where we do the brown sound, you put everything on 10, use a humbucker. But then a few days I'd be like, man, this is like the coolest, like overbuilt AC30 thing. Yeah. If I just turn the amp down a little bit, I was getting clean sounds I couldn't get out of other amps, and so I ended up thinking like, well, I actually had a board set up for a while before we had MIDI. Yeah, I had 2 lines. There was a line for the lead. Why not? Because I only get one preset on there. Yeah, I was like, can I have a development one? And I just kind of ended up on my board. So there was a lead one that was switching a preset from the lead sounds. Okay, and the second one is actually doing clean stuff. And
because Marshall is one of the best clean tones ever. I don't know if people ever know that, but like I think everybody obviously associates drive, but it's one of the coolest clean. I mean, Hendrix, hello.
Hendrix cleans, and if we get to the 70s and 80s, you've got the Police stuff was 90% Marshall cleans.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff.
Which is wild to think, because you do not associate those tones with Marshalls, but they're so good.
It's all good. And again, I know there are a few like JC 120s. When you get to synchronicity,
sure,
every bit you take. But for the majority, you ever saw live gigs with them, it was 2 half stacks and a flanger and some delays. And a lot of players were doing that. And then, so what I think would be a fun thing today is, there's another concept, and I used to think this, I'm sorry, this is, as I was getting into Van Halen later, and I'd hear that sound, and I was like, man, that's really bright and crispy. It doesn't feel like it'd be very forgiving in your hands. And then I realized one thing was light gauge strings.
Oh, for sure.
So you got like, what, 9s, 2.5 step. And then the amp, when it's over-biased and, starved at the wall, it has a squishiness to it.
It feels good.
It feels really good. Yeah. And so what I used to do was, it was kind of fun to set up this thing, and I have the exact same amp settings, and all I'm doing is changing the amp itself.
Okay. So on the MIDI switch.
So I'm just using the MIDI switcher to go the same setting, stock setting, super bass, Plexi, brown.
How many can you have?
Basically 127.
Oh, seriously?
Standard. So if I just keep sending it a program change, send it 1, 2, 3, 4. I just call up 4 on my floor, and I just hit save, and it'll remember on this side.
No way. So like any of the things you do, and then you can save it.
Hit save, and you go back, it just remembers it. So like even right now, you can actually, I'm just moving my, even though I'm using the same speaker on it, but in fact, I'll just play it.
Okay. So this is the same exact amp settings, you're just switching the amps.
So the amp type, yeah.
Okay.
So here's my super bassing. Plexi. Brown sound. And you can actually hear the amp start to actually kind of lose headroom. It's funny. Yeah. Because super bass is kind of big and it doesn't have a lot of treble. Get to the Plexi, it's getting a little brighter and a little squishier. And I've actually lost output volume. But the funny thing with the brown one is...
You know what's funny about the brown one when you just played that?
Yeah.
I feel like if you turn the volume down, that's what I want to do. That's like total Bold as Love.
Yeah, there's the magic. If I turn down just a little bit... Don't want to get us striked. Sorry, but yeah.
Now they're cool.
Now, if I leave that volume where it is, which is kind of halfway down, one. That's the brown sound one.
Oh my god!
If I go to the super bass, it's actually too muddy. Again, same settings.
Yeah.
Plexi. Cleaner, better.
Sure.
But the little bit of crunch on this one.
Yeah, that's tough to beat. It sounds like the Plexi would be like Castles Made of Sand vibe.
Oh, yeah. Now, if the amp was on 10, it'd be a different story. But this is that whole thing of how was I getting other sounds without turning on a boost, turning off a boost, moving the treble control.
Sure.
And I love I'll go back to brown again.
The brown one is so good.
Yeah. And with the guitar, which I stole from you. I don't have guitars that's cool, honestly. You've got jumbo frets, and I think the radius is done a little flat.
Right.
Nice humbucker. Like, I can get a lead sound here, which is... Amps, it's not even on 10, it's on 7.
That sounds...
And it doesn't sound like Eddie's sound.
That sounds awesome,
It's just big and furry.
Yeah.
Turn down a little bit. Go to the neck pig.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just riding the
What do you need?
The pickup. You really don't need much.
To me, I'm like, that's good. I'm good. Maybe a little delay.
And it's funny.
By the way, if you guys haven't tried it, and I put like a bunch of delays in a row. The tape delay on the,
Starlight.
Starlight. It's on my board. That's I have 2 pedals on my board, their verb and their delay. The best tape delay. That thing is so freaking good.
We can talk about that for 2 minutes because there's something interesting about the Echoplexes.
Okay.
Is I have a few of them. There are 2 specific ones that are different types, although they look exactly the same.
Okay.
They're both EP3s.
Yep.
And for one, the preamp, which we all know does a little bit of tone sculpting on the high end.
Magic, yeah.
There's a little fairy dust in there, and it really is.
Yeah, totally.
Because they can add a little gain or take things away.
Okay.
And there's actually thin box and thin there's thick and thin boxes.
What's
There's
that?
ways that if you look at the box it's in,
okay,
you can just see what area it is by the actual wood
the thickness of the
box itself.
Okay, gotcha.
That just gets really nerdy.
Going now, Eric Johnson territory.
Yeah, actually, he says like, is it a thick box? Is it a thin box? It is a thin.
Oh my God!
Now, if you can break it inside, there's an extra thing in there.
Okay.
As at some point, as they were getting to the 70s, they put almost like it's like a Dynacomp or a compressor.
Oh, really?
Going to the record head.
Okay.
Because they were trying to get rid of noise.
Sure.
It's like, well, we'll compress it. We'll just get it printed hot as possible. So even when you were playing light, it would print it hot. So you ended up, funny, the repeats have a click to them and they're compressed on their way back.
Wow, what a trip.
And there's early ones don't have it. So they sort of dyeing it dark naturally. So for one thing, in that switch it says, mint and worn and old.
Okay.
The mint one has the compressor because it's super percussive as it repeats out.
Sure.
And the worn ones, which are older units I had that fell downstairs or all beat to crap, they're darker and
they sound good.
They sound great. But the repeats get darker and woolly and fade off. And the other weird thing is a properly maintained Echoplex is almost as clear as a digital delay. It's very hi-fi.
Sure. Right.
Except nobody ever used to clean them. So
yeah, well, and that's what I kind of appreciate it too, is like you can control, because I like it when it rolls off and gets like darker as the delays happen, and that's what I love about that pedal, and just the little bit of modulation on it too.
A little modulation, which is wow in Flutter, which
sure
you have to imagine. I would sit there for, okay, let's just go. I know this is going to sound terrible, and you can edit all this out.
Yeah, it's all good.
Is the tape loops about 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
There's a little splice in there.
Okay.
And it never used to fail. I'd be playing something, and you'd hear this long delay, and it'd go, what? It would hit the splice, and then it would slip.
No way.
And then it would drop out.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, what a bummer. And as we were developing, I'm like, every 2.5 minutes, I want a splice drop.
Oh, for sure.
I don't have to wobble.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Actually in there.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that, and then playing through it, and then listening to the 2.5 minutes of how much it was kind of wobbling. So what I did was I took my old one and just left it playing and kept using it to just dirty it up.
Sure.
And then I mauled it with the guys.
God. Okay.
And then after that was done, I cleaned it, serviced it.
Oh my gosh.
And then did it again.
Okay.
Because I needed.
So you had all of it.
That's why the worn one is actually a worn one with a worn tape.
Sure.
This is the other problem.
You actually did it.
I actually did it, and I had tapes I had from the early 90s that I had used. And you're not supposed to keep them in there that long.
No.
But I'd keep using because you couldn't buy them anywhere. So I'd always keep them. Like maybe one day I'll rewind them or something. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, where's my old? I had one that was the stock one that came with it from the 70s. So I found that.
Gosh.
So that's when we did it. I'd also like on the worn one, I put the old tape back in and let everything get dirty, and so the slipping.
It's all degrading.
No, it was bad. You could see through it. You could see all these stripes on the tape from it passing thousands of times.
It's all the Eric Johnson licks you were learning.
Oh, dude, if you played it, it'd be just like, oh, bad Danny Gatton, bad Eric Johnson, bad Robin Ford, bad Andy Summers when he had the Echoplex. Right. But that's the fun of this gig is, try to find these weird little quirks.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know what's happening unless someone explains to you how crazy that stuff is.
Right.
Because I'm sure you've got pieces of gear you just know inside and out.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm sure there's amps, if I just bang it right here, that'll stop rattling.
Yeah.
Just hit it here.
You don't want the tube completely seated, and then you want it a little loose.
Yeah, and don't put, which is funny because used to, on the Marshalls, you'd have the little spring-loaded holders.
Yeah.
And they used to rattle.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to take them out.
Yeah, for sure.
So before he gets make sure you're all seated in there.
Totally.
Yeah, so don't do that.
No,
don't take out your spring-loaded holders. They'll fall out of your hands. But so all that big left turn to go back to, it's all in there,
Well, that's the great thing about the level of detail just in an Echo, but like the same as in all of the pedals, which is amazing. And dude, stereo too. I don't play stereo very often, but every once in a while I'll put it together and you're just like, for real. It's like a whole different experience.
And that's another topic because funny, I love stereo, but if my core tone gets stereo, it almost gets too wide for me personally.
Yeah.
And I heard Larry Carlton talk about this ages ago where they talked about his recording signal. He's like, well, no matter what I'm using, the core of his tone was always mono.
Yep.
And you might put a reverb around it.
Sure.
Which now we're going to talk, we're getting into what is wet, dry, wet.
Sure.
But in any studio, and this is going to sound even worse, I'm apologizing now for this. I stalked Larry one time through my friend Travis, who's the bass player. He's going to see my dad play. I'm like, yeah, because I was dying to ask him what mics he was putting on his amps back in the day.
Right.
And I was like, yes, I want to know, what'd you use? And he told me something that kind of set me straight. I finally get backstage, dressing room, really nice chatting, talking. And I finally like, okay, here, I'm going in.
Here's my chance.
So with the Tweed Deluxe, man, what mic were you putting on there? He looked at me like, I don't know.
Yeah. 57?
He's like, it was the engineer. He's like, that wasn't my job. That was the engineer's job. My job was to show up, play guitar, and make the song better. And it was just like, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why do I care about this crowd?
Oh, bro, I know, right?
You know, so
at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's get it out of the instrument. And it was a guitar with a cable and an amp. You never had any pedals.
That's the other thing too. And I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because just being in town, you hear guys plug straight into an amp, and it's like, they sound just as good.
It doesn't matter.
And it's almost better. Like students, I remember when I first started building this amps for Divided By, there were a couple amps that were really quick. Yep. Like the AC30, people wouldn't buy it was the RA31, but people wouldn't buy it because it was hard to play. And I'm like, okay, there's something to this then. If I can sound good playing an amp that's harder to play, then you're onto something. And it's like less gang. And I finally figured out, after God knows how long, you know, a lot of the tones I really was searching for weren't as dirty as I thought they were.
Isn't that
you hear the isolated track and you're like, it's a lot cleaner than I thought it was.
It's a lot cleaner, and it's sometimes not as bassy as you thought it was.
Yeah.
Because
the bass is doing it.
Yeah. The bass was actually filling the bottom end, and the kick drum stayed away from the bass, and the guitar was this big.
Or the bass was distorted, and that's like part of the sound. You're like, oh, the bass is distorted.
Yeah, there's an amp peg, and it's crunchy a little bit.
Guitar's like,
it's right here. And there are two people that told me the same thing. I saw Jeff Bixgear at some sound checks, and he was rolling the bass off. There's no bass.
Totally.
And then Joe Walsh did the same thing. He came over. He takes the bass and turn it all off. I'm like, you're kidding, right? He's like, no, all off. On a Deluxe, he just zeroes it out.
Yep.
Because he's in the Eagles. There's so many guitars in that band.
Yeah.
It's like you have to carve out a certain sonic space. Like, well, between acoustics going off, and then whatever Felder or any other people playing electric, he needed to be a little honky and pushed over. And it's like, well, that makes sense, because now you're thinking about the song and how you fit in a band, and not just how big can I sound.
Well, and he was Bukovac toured with him too, and I think he was saying the same thing with the treble. And he's like, God, it's bright. He's like, bright. Yeah, but when the room fills up with people.
With people, and the band's playing, and the keys are going off, and the rhythm guitar's there, you never have a problem hearing them.
Isn't that funny?
So back to the pedals. That's a real left turn, but I think they're important topics.
It is very important, because it keeps people from searching too hard and thinking it has to be all this voodoo, and it's a lot of times it's not. It's like plug into your amp and plug into your amp,
and in fact, we're going to turn off. I just had a little reverb here.
Yeah.
In fact, when you were setting up, I love a little reverb.
What's this supposed to be?
I have a 224 on the reverb and a little slap from a Memory Man.
Oh, so there's both.
So that's what I've set up in here, the Del-Verb,
Oh, come on. I didn't realize that one did both.
Yeah, so I'm actually using two things. So it's on and off. So
delay.
For dual delay. It's okay. No, and I called it something else. And
hello, first day at the job.
Okay. Yeah, no, dude, every day's my first day, so I won't forget. So that's what I had set up. But even with that, when you were setting up, the first thing I did was kind of turn it off and was sitting here playing, basically, I don't want to steal Billy's Gibbons riffs, but so before I even get past adding stuff,
what's it on right now?
So funny, I'm in the Brown sound,
dude,
which is Van Halen, but turned down a little bit. Yeah.
That's my favorite. It's always when I play it, I'm like, Brown sound. Why would I?
Brown sound, but not on 10. It's Eddie's on 10. It's really distorted.
Sure.
And the tone rolled back a little bit, and this humbucker. I mean, I could do the same on the Plexi, but
wait, what are the settings? Sorry. Okay, so my son. Usually, I have a nice camera pointing down, and my son took the one piece I needed to have an overhead shot.
Oh yeah, and
Dad, I'm going to borrow this.
No problem. In fact, what I did, these were actually all at noon.
Okay. So tell them what they are, so they can. This camera's got a weird angle, but can you tell them what the knobs are, so when you start twisting them, they'll know what they are? Yeah,
I can actually even mock it up if you want to see it. I will go over here and do it in real time. So Plexi.
Okay.
It was literally noon.
What are the controls? What are they? Can you tell them?
So I'm bass, middle, treble at the moment. No channel 2. So this would be like a Y cable thing. So I'm just in the first channel, around 7. And then, and if I turn it on 10 and then dime everything, and then go dime the presence, you hear the whoosh.
Yeah.
I go into alt.
Sounds like a Marshall.
Marshall. And there's your presence.
You copy the noise too.
Yeah, we'll do it. So that's everything on 10 using.
Yeah. Okay.
There's all that high end. Yeah. But I go back, take the presents to noon.
I can never make that work for me.
Presents is funny with me. Presents comes and goes depending on the guitar. Strats, I got to take some trouble out.
Sure.
A Les Paul, or I'm a full Les Paul with a humbucker in here.
I have friends that do the whole Marshall on 10 thing, and they sound great. I just, for some reason, my hands don't. I don't hear that. Me
either. I get to about 7, and that's kind of where it starts to crumble for me.
Sure.
So that's what I'm doing here. Is like I'm all the tone stack stuff's all noon. Okay. Presence, treble, middle, bass, just put it all at noon.
Yeah.
But the amp at like 7, and then.
Yeah.
And I've still got a clean set.
Is the treble pot on the guitar?
I'm all the way up on the treble pot.
All right, cool.
And depending, I might goose the mids and treble I hear because I'm on a darker speaker.
What speaker is that supposed to be?
So that is a 25-watt greenback with a Royer M160 ribbon.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it would be darker.
It's a little darker, except if you want to go there for a second, every one of these things, and I have to remind people, like, it may look like a setting, but that gear exists. There's a story why it's in there. Yeah. And usually it's a piece I had to kind of go through, well, at the time there's different things. But other Craigslist, eBay, Reverb, to try to find certain things. So
that's 101 here though in town. It's like a 57 and a Royer. That's like
and that's in there. That's the standard.
Yeah.
The reason I did that in that first position is this is again, we'll go left again.
Okay.
Because again, I don't usually tell these stories to anybody.
Please.
There was a project I was on where we had access to the Hendrix original 4-tracks.
Oh, come on.
1-inch 4-track tape. There was on EMI tape. Our experience. So I've heard Boulder's Love off the multitracks and with Eddie Kramer in New York.
It's so good.
Yeah, going through it. And
well, what's crazy about that too is I've heard that too, the isolated track, and it's like it's even better than I thought it was.
It is.
You hear all that nuance that gets lost, and it's just like, dude.
It's amazing, and just like the Larry Carlton thing is.
Yeah.
There was a week of this transferring thing, and I was taking notes, and this was like 26, 25. This is a long time ago, decades ago already. And I'm seeing the 1-inch go on. Here comes Axis, and of course I hear the room mics, and we're soloing the guitar. And of course, what's one thing in my brain is like, I need to ask him what mics on Jimmy's cab. What's up? We know the guitar, we know the amp.
Sure.
And he finally asked him, he's like, ask me in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So I wait till he's like eating his Wheaties one morning. He's in the control room, like literally had breakfast in the morning. I said, come on, you gotta tell me. He's like, well, okay. I used to use these things called Royer, Bayer M160s.
Dude, that's my favorite mic.
And it's the drum sound when the levee breaks. Totally. He said on Jimmy's guitars, they weren't U67s that first record, they were M160s usually.
They're so good.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Well, that's why here, because I in the aux, I would go, and if you have an aux and haven't gone through the presets, please do. They're amazing. But I remember seeing that in the in one of the presets that you did, and it's 160.
It's an 160,
like, cool. And then my friend, when I was buying all this gear for my studio, he's like, do you have one of these Beyer Dynamic 160? And I didn't. Because on my aux, it's always the 57 and a 160.
Yeah.
Like when I make my own patches, and I was like, oh my God, that's what that mic is. And when I put it on my cabinet, my real cabinet in there, and I heard it, I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, and the 160 is a little more forgiving because the 121 has a lot of low end.
Yeah,
it can be,
totally.
Which is why you can put it right on the cone, and it shaves some high end and has some beef. The M160 is a little more mid-forward and forgiving.
It's so good.
And so then here's what happened. He's like, well, at the time I recorded that, those were older M160s. Mm-hmm. So I went and did a little research and realized they're usually black with a little black ring around.
Okay, yep.
And he said, well, these were early ones that were silver-bodied, and before they had XLR connectors as a standard.
Okay.
They were called Tukol.
Okay.
A European, basically the early European mic connectors.
Sure. I'm
thinking, oh no, so they're, again, if you were recording in 1967, it's not a stretch to think, well, the mics were from 64 or 5. I'm thinking, so I started asking I had a friend in Germany, and I went to a music master one year. He's a mic. I'm like, dude, I need to find M160, but original 60s ones.
Sure.
He's like, well, okay. He was buying U47s.
Yeah.
Really expensive. This
You're
was
like, boss, I need $5,000 right now.
And I'm thinking, I need one of these. And it took like 6 months. He's like, I'll look next time I go to, because he had a lot of studio gear. And one day a package shows up. It's 2 M160s in the original blue cases with the paperwork.
Dude.
From like 1964.
Come on.
silver body, and he had the Tuchel connectors in there.
Dude.
And he's like, yeah, I was buying a bunch of the U67s and U47s, and these were kind of sitting there from some old radio station in Germany. No, they were. To him, they were like ghetto mics. Like, we use professional mics here. Exactly. He's like, you want them? He's like, I think I paid like $300 for them. It's a part of some giant collection from a radio station. I'm like, yeah. So
please.
So for 20 years, I've had this perfect pair of original, and that's what's in aux.
No,
that's what's in here, and I have it marked as there's one called number 6.
Okay.
Of the two, there's one that's better.
Oh my gosh.
So that's when you hear that in here.
That bold as love setting on the aux is so good.
Oh man, and aux, a lot of it came from hearing those tapes, because I heard the overhead mics on the drums, which were U60-70s kind of thing. So I always wanted to hear. Okay, we're gonna go there for a second. Okay. And again, you can use this later.
No, totally. This is good stuff.
Yeah, this is fun. The 4-track tape originally, and again, I was on the project officially, so there's no bootlegging of anything. And I never gave you these out, but on that 4-track, because till now. But here's the secret sauce: is you would take those 3 or 3 and you'd bounce it to 1.
Yep.
Just like Sgt. Pepper's, you'd keep bouncing, which means the same tape had a pass.
Okay.
When they were individual, it would go to another machine, get dumbed down to another one, and stuff's added. It would come back to the other machine again. Because then that'll make sense. Like, you had to take the 3, submix it, go to another machine on one, and then you'd add a tambourine, a lead, a background vocal. Then that would get bounced again and come back to the tape. So a single tape would have pass 1, 3. In 6.
Okay.
Usually.
Sure.
So by the time you got to like a second or third, which would really be the 6th pass at that, you almost had the done song. But that meant the bass and drums were all tied in mono, which is scary to think. Access Bold as Love, the drums and bass are mono on the final mix.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
They just tied them together.
Okay.
And then most of the guitars were tied together on another track. And what was left was a single pass for his lead vocal, and then backgrounds or other funny effects. So, but the fact that the master tape was there, I got to hear the first pass before he did his vocal, meaning the guitars, the rhythm guitars weren't subbed down into the later. So I got to hear the drums isolated from the guitar mics.
Oh my gosh.
I'm thinking, okay, let me just hear the drums. And because his Marshall at Olympic Studios was loud,
you could hear
a lot of his guitar ended up in the drum mics, meaning it had that boom. It had a boom, it had a room sound to it. And then you blend in the directness of the M160 with that.
Oh my
And I did an experiment, let me hear just the mic. And it was dry. It's like a little, it was cool, but I said, let me hear the drums again. And then you put them together, like, oh, that's why. And when you listen to the original mixes, the drums and bass were kind of panned left. His direct mic was panned right.
Okay.
So even though it was only 4-track, you get this wide stereo image because the direct was over here.
Yeah.
The ambient drum mics were over here. That's where you hear that when he does the first chord, that
it sounds huge.
So there's the secret to that, which is why when we were in Ox, I'm like, we need room. If I'm going to do these classic tones, when people just had Marshalls and Tweeds turned up and they were cutting live as a band, that bleed would get into the drum mics, and there's a vibe you lose when you isolate things.
So I'm so glad you're saying,
because even though we're isolating guitar enough for this, but the vibe of that knob is supposed to make you feel like you're in the tracking room.
Which is awesome, because I always put room in there, and then you have the carpet or the non-carpet.
I did. I'm the guy who actually pulled all the carpet out myself, and then retuned the room, and then put the carpet back in the baffles. It was real. It all was real. Yeah. Sorry, you were going to say something, because I'm just telling you crazy crap.
Oh no, but it comes across in the end, and it's so good. Because I can't. Everybody's always like, "Oh my god, what cab did you use?" But because they always assume it's a real thing, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm plugging into the aux." Like 99% of everything I've ever done on YouTube has been straight into an aux, and they're like, "I can tell." And I'm like, "No, you can't, because I've been using the aux the whole time."
Yeah, you can't tell. I mean, honestly, if and this is the scary part, whether it's this, let's go there. Whether it's a Helix, a Fractal, a Kemper, if the part in the song is cool enough,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Who cares what it is?
Just make music.
Make music. I mean, Adrian Ballou was taking Fox tone machines and going direct into a console. Which, funny enough, I always think of him as this experimental guy, but he's a Nashville dude. I think he lived in Nashville when Frank Zappa found him, and then went on the road. So we don't think of this. I don't think of him as the typical Nashville player,
right?
Because that's where we're at right now.
Hendrix too. Do they have? They have in this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in town, they have the bar where Hendrix used to play at a place down the street, and they have like they bought the building and have the actual bar.
See,
where he used to play.
He used to play probably an R&B band.
Yeah,
totally.
The
cover circuit with
I guess
Jimmy James and the Flames or something.
Totally. He was here for like 6 months or a year or something like that. And they just like,
and they're everything's a tool. That guy had how many guitars? And ended up with a Marshall because
they were all new back then too.
Yeah, that's right. They were all new. He wasn't looking for a vintage one. So as much as all this matters, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, you end up playing a certain way when you get it, like that guitar or this guitar. The Marshall maybe allows you to play differently. And I think hopefully if we can use tools to make our playing gel rather than go, well, if I just had this, I'd play better. Well, you'd play differently maybe.
So tell me this, and tell me if I have this right. There's been a few bands that have played at the Sphere that do all aux pedals, right? Or not aux pedals, sorry, these pedals rather than amps. Which is wild because I guarantee if people didn't know that, they wouldn't have come out of the thing thinking it wasn't amps.
Yeah, no, it's and I was kind of shocked. I didn't think it was going to happen, but we get a call one day from Edge going, I need like a bunch of those. And then he's friends with our owner. And he's like, okay, sure. And then they get a call like, you might want to go to Sphere because we got a call from Dallas Shoe, and Dallas would like you to come over because Edge thinks this sounds exactly like his amp. And he's going to just go with that because it's consistent. And
was it a Ruby or did he use?
He had Ruby, Ruby, which is an AC30. But the funny thing is the Ruby, that's doing your homework because, I mean, and I did as much reading, and I did talk to Dallas. I go, what year is his amp? It's obviously a top boost. And then, well, are the speakers original? Well, no, they were sort of replaced over the years. So they weren't even, his amp doesn't even have the original blues in it.
Okay.
I think they were changed. Hopefully I didn't give away some secret, but that doesn't mean anything other than.
Way to go, James.
Yeah, it's like, come on, he knew he was going to blow a speaker over his 40-year career.
Yeah, exactly.
But they would change things as things needed to get fixed.
Yeah.
But I just, like, when I asked one day, it's like, okay, it's always a guitar, maybe the chord delay and it's not too dirty. And it's like, okay, well, I can stick to the same year roughly he got his.
Sure.
And we do the amp modeling correctly, it should scale. And scaling for me means, with this like this Lion Marshall stuff, we're not just modeling the amp on 10. We do the whole circuit, meaning if you put the amp on 7, it should do the same thing the real thing does on 7. Exactly. Or if I put it on 4 1/4 and put
which
the
is totally
on 2,
different.
Which is totally it's not taking a snapshot. They're full scalable circuits. So it's like, okay, we're gonna have to do the AC30 exactly the way it is, which means it's gonna sound terrible in some positions. And I did blow it up once. By the way, you can't run an AC30 8 hours a day and expect it not to just die. Like, oh, I'm blowing fuses. Crap.
Yep.
And I used a step up transformer,
sure,
220. But I just got as close as I could, and then I said, Mike, like, oh, we just use a 58. Literally just a 58.
Sure.
Jammed right in the cone.
Right in the cone, yeah.
I'm like, okay, this can't be that
wild.
Which is wild. I thought I'd be something more intense. He's like, no, 57, right there. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And that's actually
what's in
it. Yeah, like, wow, just
roll some of that off in the end.
Yeah, 58, and his jangly thing was there, and and so he did that, and then I've been working off and on with Dead & Co for a while, just through Bob Weir. I love Bob; he's great, and he's always searching for new tones. So he started using a Ruby.
No way.
And he's been DI'd for years, and going in, he's like, I'm gonna do this in-ear thing, and then he used it, and then I get a call because Dallas Shoe used to tech for Joe Walsh and the Eagles in the 70s.
This is what I heard too.
Yeah, and one day they're like, hey, Dallas was talking to Walsh, and they're talking to these. Like, hey, can you talk to Walsh? And Joe's like, I don't do these in-ear things. He likes amps. So he came over to my place for a couple of days, and you just have to imagine him going.
Yeah, exactly.
That whole thing. And you're thinking, wow, that sounds like somebody playing. Like, oh, that is him playing it.
Yeah.
He kind of freaks you out because here comes out, the bass goes out, out comes the treble. You're like, wow, that really sounds like it.
Isn't that a surreal experience? I mean, we dropped an amp off to him, and we're at an SIR and watched it at rehearsal, and you listen to it, and you're like, oh my God,
there it is. There it is.
Yeah, for some reason with him, it hit extra, because I've seen all the bands that I love, but for some reason when I was there, I was like, and he did Turn to Stone, I was just like,
yeah.
Dude, there it is.
There it is.
So
there it is.
good.
But it's funny because he loves amps, and I think there's a Dr. Z amp in a safe room under the stage as a backup as well, or can blend in. But he has the Dream. He actually has my prototype Enigmatic.
What about the Woodrow?
Well, he has that too. There's a little pedal board, but he'd come over when I was still working on the Enigmatic. He's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Well, it's not done yet, and it's not even the right color."
I haven't played that one yet. Is that the double one?
It's and it's just a lot there. But we were dialing it in. He's like, "Oh, I kind of like that." I'm like, "Okay, you can take it." So if you go to Spear and see the Eagles, every once in a while you look on stage, you see my prototype Enigmatic up there because it's the wrong color, it's got the wrong knobs. He's like, "You're not getting it back." And I'm like, "Okay."
Hilarious.
At least it's getting used and getting lost in my closet. But it was interesting to learn the quirks, which made me think what we're talking about today is you play differently. And these guys have figured out over thousands of gigs how their style translates into exactly what they need out of an amp.
Sure. Both in the studio and live.
And live, because they've done thousands of gigs. They've done, hundreds of hours of sessions for a single record.
Totally.
Worked with producers, and to hear them go, I might have played these other amps for my solo stuff. If I'm doing the Eagle stuff, it has to be a version of a deluxe amp.
Oh, for sure.
Like, well, but you have everything. I said, yeah, but not in that form.
Yep.
If he's doing his own thing, he can experiment and play other stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And then I've had these talks even with Eric Johnson, like, "Hey, dude, why don't you just, cut the amp rig down and you can go do like the Blues Cruise and just like have fun and play."
Sure.
But when you go see his gig, you kind of expect to hear that palette of tones. So he was like, "I got to bring everything," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you feel for him, like, that means you got to bring 2 Fenders in stereo for clean.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's like you expect that, but he knows to do his
still
thing.
Here?
He's got great hair.
I know that's the irony too. Kenny Wayne too. Like it's the same thing. It's like he's got perfect hearing, and you're like, dude, how? Like,
well, funny enough, I will talking about Hendrix. Eric typically never stands in front of the sort of zone.
Oh, okay.
He always stands over here to the front.
Just lets everybody else get blasted.
Well, that's you always feel bad because if you're on this side stage and you're in front, you're just getting nailed.
Oh, 100%.
I remember he used to "I'm really sorry." He would bend over, and back when everything was 100 watt, still a string singer.
Well, you feel it too, because I've been in Oklahoma. They play this place called the Zoo, and I was front row. And it's just like, dude, like you feel it. And the stage was, the amps were still back. But
but they're right here in front of you.
Right there.
He's 20 feet away.
Yeah, exactly.
But he used to do that, and then there was an Experience Hendrix gig. I'm telling secrets, but they're fun.
Sure.
But the guest that night was a guy named Jerry Stickles in the Wings. He's like, "Hang out, we'll do the set." And he was doing our Experience, which is really cool when he does the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm sitting in the amp guitar tech area. I'm sorry, just guitar tech world. And then Jerry Stickles gets a little folding seat. Then Eric starts, but Eric had actually done the rig this way, but also took the Marshall and pointed it into sort of the curtains off to the side, which meaning the Marshall was pointed at the guitar tech's head. Oh, right on the other side of the curtain there. It was just kind of going this way because he didn't want to hurt anybody in the front of that.
Yeah, just kill the guitar tech's head.
And then I'm looking down, and then Jerry Stiles like getting his head blown, and then it's like, "I'm really sorry." I was like, I wouldn't blow his head. We're literally looking at the Marshall facing us, turned.
Oh my gosh!
So, it was Hendrix's guitar tech.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure he couldn't hear.
No,
so let's be honest.
Those days are long gone.
But just to see the Spinal Tappy thing, like, "Holy crap, I'm really sorry." Yeah. It's playing very loud.
Oh, dude. But there's a feeling though. I mean, like, yeah, I get it to a degree, but like there's something about being in a room and there's just all that sound happening and just like, okay, I know this probably isn't the best thing for me, but it sure is amazing.
It's amazing in little stages, and even we did it again today. I think we were just sitting there like, I have some speakers here. It's like, hey, can we maybe is it possible to fill out the room?
Yeah.
Just to have something bouncing around the back, because I think that's too many years of playing clubs for me.
Oh, dude. But there's a feeling to it. It's amazing. Okay, sorry.
No,
tell me more about this thing really quick. Yeah, totally.
Because I think it's an important discussion.
No, this is great. I mean, well, you know what I love about it is people need to understand how much goes into these things to get it right. And when I play them, I think they're awesome. I love the Woodrow. Like, that pedal is amazing.
People hate the Woodrow. If you're not a tweed person, that thing, it can sound like a fuzz box.
Sure, but it's awesome. And I think a lot of times people, they just don't tweak stuff. Right. You know what I mean? And everything is in context. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, sure, if you're going to play by yourself in a room, yeah, but like what you're saying too, like once a band happens, I remember like in the old days when I would get an amp I would like, and then you go to try to play it at a gig and you're like, where am
fail.
I?
Yeah,
yeah, you can't hear anything or like, so I think it's all in context, but I mean, these things the other thing is people that like amps, yes, obviously play amps, but as a backup, like if your amp ever goes down,
just
it's
use one of those.
Plug straight into the amp. They sound amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just to back that point up too, like when we talk about playing clubs and smaller venues, a few hundred seaters, you know, the back wall matters too, because if you got a combo amp, it hits the back wall and kind of hits your head.
Yep.
And actually, when I was retuning that room thing, I actually did have a baffle that I was tuning the back of the amp.
No way.
To get the reflection. So on the combo amps, I was tuning a baffle.
Okay.
To move it back out, because I didn't want it to actually hit the glass of the control room, or hit too far this way. I actually sort of replicate.
You're the perfect guy for this job.
I know. I tell people, like, I'm unemployable in a normal job.
Right.
But if you want me to move a piece of wood for like 3 hours,
I'm your guy.
Tune a reflection, and then I thought I was crazy for doing that, because I'm thinking, no, it needs to feel. Because I was playing in the room, but no, when I get to the combos, it needs to have a little of this, because. Thing is, I would test it with the room mics and the close mics.
Yeah.
So the room mics actually needed that bouncer reflection to go that way.
Okay.
And again, that's when the carpet would come, and the carpet would soak a little bit of it up.
Yep.
And you hear less phasey stuff by the time you got 30 feet away to the room mics. And then you read stuff later like, oh, you know, Bryan Adams was doing the same thing on his records. They used to take the AC30s and they'd pull them at a wall and put the mic here, because you're kind of getting these different sounds. Well, a lot of people have done this stuff. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think if you Google some of that, like AC30, maybe it might be the engineer Bob Clermont was doing some of that stuff. But they talk about, you know, facing two. In fact, Queens of the Stone Age dude Josh Homme told me this.
Okay.
Sometimes we take two amps and face them at each other and put the mic in the middle.
No way.
Just to get a different sound.
Yeah.
So there's no wrong answer to this, man.
That's hilarious.
Because you've got some studio time and the want to have a different sound for a song, and you only have those amps.
Sure.
And then it's like, well, I'm not going to plug into a digital. You're just going to move the amp and use a different mic, or face it at a wall, put two together and put a crappy little PV amp facing a crapped out little Ampeg amp and put a mic in the middle.
It's magic.
It's magic. Yeah. You see what happens. Yeah. And guess what happens? How'd you get that sound?
I'm not telling a soul.
And he didn't for years.
Just told everybody.
I know. I was surprised he told me. I'm like, you did that? Like, yeah, you put two amps in front of it, you know. And I think it's fun to hear this stuff, because it's just hard work. It's homework. Man.
Yeah. Sorry, we had a dog interruption.
Yeah, which is good, because I think it gives it an excuse to switch cables.
Okay.
I don't remember. Do we have no pop cables? I think we did. We popped.
Oh no, I turned this one off. But
you're smart.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
this one. One of them has like the little ring on it.
Exactly. All of mine broke. But
yeah, totally.
But I think the fun thing is, we talk about all these sounds. We talk about what you need to play. But then there's the whole thing of what you need to get out of the feel and dynamics of the guitar.
Yep.
So you kind of heard me going through it, but with that guitar and get the P90s, and you're playing, if you don't mind, I'm curious how it feels under your hands.
Oh, yeah.
Going from the bass to the Plexi to the squishy thing, and it should not only sound different, but you should have a feel to it. So we're going to start at 0. So super bass.
Super bass? Okay.
String Plexi.
Okay.
Browned out.
So that's my home base, dude. Yeah. Dude, they're awesome. That's why it's always been like, when I first got the pedal, I was like, I'm going straight to brown sound.
Yeah, and and we're doing brown, but not just for the Van Halen-ish thing, which is
totally, because again, like me, I would just back it up, and it's like
you know what's crazy? The amp is so brown that when you give it less input, the amp kind of comes back.
Yeah.
So I can actually hear your clean playing, and you roll down.
Yeah, I bet you it's great for that middle thing too.
So if I leave it there,
and
I switch it back to the bass amp, it's going to die. It's going to be dark and muddy. Nice.
Yeah.
Back to the brown. So you can see it go a little more even.
Which is great when you have that much play.
Yeah. And it's
that's a whole gig for
the
me.
whole
right
thing.
there.
Or if it was the 80s, we'd have like 60 presets. Stepping through the gain stages.
Volume 1, volume 2,
volume 3. Lead 1, lead 2, lead 4, crunch 2, crunch 5. You know, we'd sit in a late time.
Course, crunch.
Crunch.
Yeah.
And,
so wait, what is this one? Is this on?
So yeah, it's just got a little bit of lexicon
and
a little bit of slap memory now.
Dude, that is
if I put a little more, you'll hear the slap.
Yeah.
Or what's fun is no reverb, just the slap.
Dude, that sounds awesome. What's like a longer delay?
Oh
my God, that sounds awesome.
We could go full like wet.
Out of tune, sorry everybody. Oh, see, I love how it rolls off.
Yeah. So that
maybe I just need that one pedal and I can show up with 2 pedals and be done.
And then tomorrow's like, well, I could add this third.
Yeah, exactly.
We know how it goes, but this is a fun experiment to kind of see how much tone you can get of changing the pickup, the volume.
Yeah, seriously, like I think on almost probably any of those settings, I could make it, but the brown for me especially, like I literally could just do a whole gig. Like if I just had those 2 things on, I'm done. Like I'm one of those guys that just likes plugging straight in anyways.
Well, and again, over the years, I've heard the voice of Larry Carlton go, just worry about playing, man.
Sure. Yeah.
A little less gear and a little more playing. The right gear.
Right.
That'll let me get that out of there, which means just a few things. And I love gear. I have so many, look around, so many cool pedals. I love it.
Totally.
And then after a while, it's like, yeah, but if can I just get what I'm trying to say out of this? And then you realize the more people are in the band, the more complicated the song gets. You got to start using less and less effects. You got to start creating parts that speak, that have less notes, and have a more of a frequency range that doesn't kill the keyboard player's piano or the synth and the acoustic and the banjo and the lap steel and again, I hear all these voices that I've got to meet these guys over the decades ago. Just own your little space over here, man.
For sure.
And you'll
100%.
Yeah. So there's a lesson in there. I'm still going to buy everything.
Yeah, of course.
I still want all this stuff.
Because why not?
Why not? And there's appropriate times for it. So
we're in the music industry. It's all a write-off.
It's all
like
a write-off.
you tell my wife.
You know how many times I've gone to Norm's Rare Guitars and come home? It's a write-off.
Yeah, exactly. We had a good year. We got it. You know,
it's going to be worth more than my 401k is going to be in 10 years.
Show a loss. Yeah, exactly.
And, I pulled that off a couple of times.
Dude, I think I pulled it off the one and only time I'm ever going to when I got this. She's like, okay, fine.
It's worth more today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
See,
exactly.
And that's good. So I think, and we didn't even get into why I have 2 different kinds of picks on the table.
So, do you still have up those old YouTube videos of you doing all the different sounds and stuff? Those were so
I haven't seen them.
freaking good.
Oh.
He had all these videos back in the day, and I remember people are like, "Go check out James's." Like, you did the Edge thing, and you were talking about the different,
different
the
picks
and the EJ tones, and it was awesome.
And I still carry 2 picks, which actually this isn't even really a Jazz 3; it's a custom modified one, that's called a Rock 3.
Okay.
So I sort of figured out that after a few years of
because why would you want to be jazz?
Jazzy wacky, I know, right? But it was the tip thing. I would wear them out and they would get a smoother edge.
Okay.
And it would sound better with high gain.
Oh, interesting.
Because
smoother.
It was smoother and it was wearing into this sort of a beveled tip.
Okay, yep.
Meaning, when I was doing these kinds of, even just on.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, do this. Use this one. Use your own gear.
Oh, either way. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It should be pretty quick, and we'll do no verb, no nothing. Well, like this is a plain Tortix, which actually it's a custom stuff.
Check you out.
But just the between nylon and the.
Oh yeah.
Now, if I was Al Di Meola, I'd go with this because you're.
Yep.
Not percussive, which I don't do good, but I'm gonna go back to this.
That's a trip. There is a definite sound difference.
There's a difference because this has more of a transient, so it's a hit and a drop, where this has a smoother hit, meaning it almost sounds like it's been leveled out.
Okay.
So it sounds like I have more sustain because I've got a smooth note and sustain as opposed to pow and a
compressor pick.
It is. And it's weird because I can actually, okay, we'll go there.
All right.
This also came out of a guy named Ty Tabor from King's X.
Oh, dude.
And
tone monster.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so late to that party.
That kind of stuff.
Yo, dude.
It's left tune. But he told me one day I meant to see him one day and he handed me his pick. It was paper thin.
Yeah. Eddie too, dude.
I'm like, how do you play with this? He's like, well, I play really hard. And if I had a harder pick, I would push the strings out of tune.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have that solid sound. So it's funny to think I have to use the thinner pick to get a more aggressive tighter.
Yeah. But it does. It makes such a, and you can also just lighten up on how you play too, because then it really moves, you know. But it's funny watching all these guys come over with mediums. Picks.
Medium Fender is
and
actually
they play the
butts around this thing.
Yeah.
But he showed me, he's like, I get all jacked up again. He would play too hard, but the pick would never break through the strings.
Yeah.
And so I started getting into that a couple of decades ago too, and then watching drummers, because you watch a drummer record, the drums that sounded huge weren't really killing the drum set, because if you hit a drum or a snare too hard, you actually deaden it.
Deaden it, yeah.
It goes, as opposed to some with a little lighter touch, you get a little ring, and they know how to control that. So I started applying that. They said, well, if I play a little lighter, I actually can get a little bit more tone. Then we go back to Billy F. Gibbons. Light strings, light touch, huge tone. He's not strangling the guitar.
It's like we're watching Tim Pierce play. He barely touches.
And there are times you need to punch the guitar to do a Stevie Ray thing.
Yeah.
And there are other times, so just gauging how the instrument, the string gauge, the height, you know, that's why we have to have more guitars. Like I have guitars with 11s with high action, 9s with low action. And it allows the part to speak better because sometimes you want the struggle.
Sure.
Sometimes you just want to chill out and play and not break a knuckle. I love you, Josh Smith, but I can't do 12s and 13s. But
you know what's funny is Grover Jackson told me this hilarious story when he used to work for Washburn. He said Nuno came in and he got his guitar and he's like, the action was like super high and he's like, oh my God, and he felt terrible. And so he like adjusted it on the spot and he's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I'm like fighting it. And I'm like, how could you play that good and fight your guitar?
And fight your guitar, which leads me, and I'll probably end it here. So I'll put everyone to sleep. Is when I have my guitar refretted, and they try to do me a favor, like, well, I'm like, don't bother moving the action or anything. I got it, because I want to explain to you how crazy I get with wanting to do my own setups.
It makes a big difference.
Like even moving this side of the neck pickup.
Oh, for sure.
So it doesn't go.
Yep.
It's like, save yourself the pain and don't waste your time on it.
Yeah.
Because once you learn that stuff, you're like, oh, I can flavor my own food. I know how much salt I want.
Something else nobody ever thinks about. And I didn't think about it until I worked at Divided By, but Fred was super into having the pickups lower.
You have to get them a little.
And it was like, oh my God, there it is.
There it is. It's like, oh, it's staying in tune better because that side's not so close.
Because it's all.
And it's staying better. It's like, but again, it's live and learn, you know, because there really isn't one thing for the internet. And guys like you who put out information.
Oh man!
Otherwise, I was just a dumb kid with a Phillips screwdriver going, "Whoa!"
Dude, but it's crazy how much just that one little thing will do.
Locking that down, and I swear I'll stop there before I get any more crazy.
Oh no, this has been amazing. Okay, so check out. I can't highly recommend. Number one, everyone knows I'm the biggest aux proponent ever. My favorite thing ever. But these pedals, I use them all the time, and I have pedals falling out of drawers, and I swear that delay in the reverb pedal are some of the only pedals I ever use. And it's just like, yep, there I am. So these are great too if you want to save yourself some cash and not have to buy vintage amps. These all sound great and highly recommended if you have no aspirations of you just want to play at home and have killer tones. These things are so good. And like we were talking before, if you have a gig and want to have a backup but don't want to drag another amp, these things are so good because they really do. People have a hardest time believing that they wouldn't sound good being able to plug straight into a PA, but they freaking sound great. And I've heard it. Like, you're just like, I can't believe that's just a pedal.
Well, and I appreciate it. Trying, and again, the work of the team to want to do this stuff. I'm again, my unemployable, but it appreciates being in a place where they do this kind of work and they let me kind of run crazy doing this, because otherwise I'd just be playing guitar on the street corner. And,
I swear I have a good idea.
The hope of one day Billy Gibbons comes by, the guy in the corner, like, Billy Gibbons just came and sat in.
Exactly.
I'd be that guy, because I do this for free, honestly.
We can have Guthrie call him right now if you want to.
Let's go, man. I know. Come on.
All right. Thank you guys so much for checking that out. I'll leave some info about the pedals down in the description box below. I have them all. They're all fantastic. Definitely check out the effects ones too. And I'm going to pick up one of those things. Those are amazing.
I know a guy.
Yeah, you know. All right. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next time.